Imagine once a week spending 24 hours not touching your phone, not stepping into a car, not watching anything, writing, shopping, or working. And every week, making an enormous feast around a table with the exact same elaborate home-cooked dishes while wearing special clothing and singing the same songs, often for hours. This is the Hasidic version of Shabbos, the Jewish day of rest, and today I've been invited by my host Mimi Rose for an authentic Hasidic-style Shabbos feast, complete with a mood, laughs, and music that is iconic to it. Before we dig in, and we will in some really amazing dishes, let me introduce myself or reintroduce myself. I'm Frida Weisel. My channel is dedicated to Jewish life in New York with rare behind-the-scene glimpses like the clothing of Hasidic men, the headgear of women, inside a home, a sukkah, a toy store, bakery, holidays of clowning around and building huts, and so much more. I've waited 4 to 5 years of content creation to finally earn the trust of enough people in this community to bring to you the real traditions of the Hasidic Shabbos Seder. That's the word for the meal. I'll tell you more about how this video happened at the end when our bellies are stuffed and we're ready to stretch out in a food coma. We begin the Shabbos with the sound of a bell to signal that the palpable change has happened from work week to Shabbos, the day God rested after creating the world. This is when the married women light candles and say a prayer.
They're both
It's customary, as Pearl explained here in another video of mine, to light one candle for each child.
For each child, a candle.
Now the men put on their Shabbos hats, the streimels, and go off to prayers. They will walk to synagogue because driving is forbidden. In this world, the synagogue is a largely male space, and women busy with children rarely go to services in the women's balcony. There is no eating during the time from the bell until the men get back and bless the wine. But there's lots of fussing in the kitchen as the ladies prepare the feast ahead. Everything has been cooked already because cooking is forbidden on Shabbos, and lots of food sits on a hot plate warming for the meal, but cutting up veggies and plating food is fine, and as you can see, the work is never done. After a whole rush day of prep, we're starving and can't wait for the men to return. Finally, the men are back. There's usually many boys in tow, which for this video, the parents didn't want to include children.
There are no kids. Bye.
We're the kids.
The men begin by singing a welcome to the Shabbos while swaying, standing up. Shulam Aleichem Malachai Ashurais, Malachai Elyon. Then they sing odes to the women folk in a beautiful song called Aishes Chayil, Woman of Valor. This is Kiddush, the blessing of the wine. Nothing can be eaten until Kiddush is done. Each male over the bar mitzvah age, meaning older than 13, makes Kiddush. The women and children drink a few sips of the blessed wine of the men in their household. This is a ritual of hand washing for bread. Nothing can be said between washing hands and eating, but nu doesn't count as speaking, so this is the language of communication for now. Urgent news reflect the great hunger and eagerness to dig into fluffy, crispy challah while everyone in the household washes their hands in the kitchen.
And that way we bless.
This was another blessing for the challah. 2 challah breads must be on the table with a cover over it called a challah dekel. I always knew that the challah is covered to make sure that it doesn't get embarrassed, that the wine gets blessed first. Mimi made this amazing challah that the men are passing to the women. Hasidic challah is super airy, light on the inside, and super crispy on the outside. The bread that will be eaten tomorrow on Shabbos day is braided, but the bread that's eaten at night on Friday night now is just a ball with a twist running along the top, which I always knew was to commemorate the 12 Israelite tribes. I love challah so much, it's truly dangerous the amount of challah I'm capable of eating.
He's stealing.
The first course really leans on the challah. It's the fish and dips eaten with a challah. The fish is traditionally a plate of gefilte fish, sweet cooked salmon fish that's soft and chewy, and a fish jelly called kachana. This is it. The dip I love is chrein, beets and horseradish. It has a great kick. Charef, which is tomato dip, is also a very popular staple. We also have all these others.
Oh, the fish is so good.
Lots of people make the mistake of filling up here and leaving no room for later.
Look at this.
Chicken soup every Friday night. Come summer or summer on steroids, it's not Friday night without chicken soup. The soup will be practically broth filled with traditional additions.
So we have squash, and we have carrot, and we have matzo ball, kneidel. And then we're gonna pour the soup on it. Chicken zip. And if you want, we have lakshen, loaded soup. Whoever wants.
My mother would take it upon herself with each baby she had as a thanks to God to add additions to the traditional foods of Shabbos, especially to the soup. With her having had 15 kids, you can imagine the soup.
See how everyone is into the soup.
You're supposed to talk serious Shabbos stuff.
Anybody at this table had ever gegessen kokoscake mit kaartjes?
My neighbor was talking about it and we looked at her.
Ja,
As if she's crazy.
When was she talking?
No business, no politics. You're supposed to talk about thoughts on religion, on verses of the weekly portion of the Torah. It's called to say a Torah or to say a vart, which is a word, but it's a thought. But to get around this, we say nishtem Shabbos gered, not to be spoken of in Shabbos, and then you say it anyway. The table can get super animated at times. I play the goody two-shoes at this one because everyone is chattering away and I'm having a hard time getting them to sing the traditional songs. This is a Yiddish song about a poor man who spent all his money to prepare the most beautiful Shabbos meal and was rewarded with a giant diamond found in the belly of his Shabbos fish. There's definitely some winging it happening, which is not out of character for a Shabbos meal. We reminisce about parents barking at us to stay on track as kids, to get up from under the table where we were reading books. What will the new generation laugh about, being as things have so changed, parenting is so much gentler and more in vogue with parenting ideas, and the young generation isn't being raised in the same way we were? Surely they will complain in therapy about the lack of barking. There's also lots of arguing about if women should be singing.
If you want to make it very realistic, the women can't sing along.
And the woman can't sit next to the men. And
No, the woman sitting next to the men is seen that. The woman can't sing.
We're all family.
On this, we all come to an agreement to take liberties. At this table, the women sing despite the prohibition for women to sing in the presence of men. This is Zemidus, traditional prayers for the meal recited in song. As I said, a little bit of winging it. We are a chill crowd. There was lots of Zmidas in different tunes, different verses, recited at different parts of the meal. By now, we are sung out and full to the brim. We're tired. Falling asleep at the table before the Fleisch, the meat place, is par for the course.
And then fall asleep right after you say that. Yeah, definitely.
So how can one person eat this after eating challah, dips, fish, soup? No. In reality, there's usually one plate and everyone's sleeping at this point. No.
Do we have room for this? It's chicken, potato kugel, noodle kugel, farfel. The honeyed carrots are called simmas.
Here we have sweet carrot. Why do we eat this? I don't know.
This is the traditional stuff. Wait, there's also the modern take.
Here we have the grass. This is like the meat board, and then there's traditional.
That's a fancy meat board with cold cuts and sausages and different kinds of carrots.
I'm in compote. Compote. Here we have compote, and this is the desert.
The final course is compote, dessert, fruit soup. It's 3 hours later and we are ready to call it a night. We just did the meal. We didn't stop for videography. We just let our cameraman Ryan capture whatever went down, and now we are done. Shmili here, who you might have met as a workout instructor, gets past the honor or obligation of leading the benchen, the final prayers to thank God for the meal. The host usually does the passing of this honor, and one of the guests leads the prayer with a cup of wine. Now all that's left is to clean up, stretch out, and a good night's sleep. Well, if you're a guest, since it's Shabbos, you're still walking home probably, sometimes for an hour, through quiet blocks at night. Well, at home, you can finally rest, only to repeat the exact same thing all over again next week. And the week after, and again. Shabbos comes, it goes, and then the smells, the cooking, the hunger, and the fullness every week. Now that we are done, let me peel back the curtain and tell you a bit of the making of. I've been looking for a family to share these rich traditional moments for the camera for a long time. I felt it was really worth it to document, especially as there are changes with a new generation, and some of this might, in some degree, be updated with the times, and I wanted to bottle up the Shabbos traditions I grew up with. Mimi was delightfully game and cooked up a storm for us. I told her to be very traditional, and she did so, but she had one condition. She and her husband are strictly observant of Shabbos, so they were not comfortable with being filmed on Shabbos, even though my cameraman Ryan is not Jewish. She was willing to do this on another night. So we all got into it, put our phones away, got dressed, and got into the mood, and got as hungry as you would any Friday night. It was a powerful reminder of how totally committed some people are to keeping the Shabbos, and I found that deeply inspiring. Thank you so much to my hosts, to the guests, the company, and of course, to all of you.